Burn your vision board. Tear up that 5-year plan you wrote back in January. Throw out the journals where you beg the universe for what you want. They're not helping you. They're keeping you weak. They're turning you into a servant to a future that doesn't even exist. You've been told that to win, you need a goal, a shiny, perfect destination out there on the horizon. But look at your life. Look at it closely. Has chasing that goal made you powerful? Or has it just made you anxious? Has it given you control? Or has it made you a slave to a result you can't predict? Niccolò Machiavelli was the most misunderstood strategist in history. He didn't have goals. He didn't run on hope. He didn't ask the world for permission. He had something colder, something sharper. He had a method. A goal is a wish dressed up as a plan. A method is a siege. And if you're tired of wishing, if you're done climbing ladders only to find out they're leaning against the wrong wall, then you're ready for the truth. But fair warning, this isn't a pep talk. This is self-conquest. Most people spend their whole lives in a state of becoming. Always waiting for the promotion, waiting for the relationship, waiting for the money, waiting for the body. They live in the not yet. And because they live in the not yet, right now they're empty, they're fragile. One surprise hit from life, one turn of the wheel, and they fall apart. Why? Because their whole identity was pinned to a goal they hadn't reached. Machiavelli understood that the world is chaos. He called it Fortuna, the wild, unpredictable river of fate. If you build your house on the bank of a river called goals, you'll drown when the flood comes. And the flood always comes. Today, I'm going to teach you how to stop building on the bank and how to become the river instead. I'll show you how to trade the fragile idea of a goal for something unbreakable. The Machiavellian idea of positioning. Master this, and you stop caring about success or failure. Those words lose all meaning. You just advance. You become inevitable, a force that can't be stopped, because you're no longer aiming at a single point. You're expanding in every direction at once. But to get there, you have to kill the part of you that loves to dream. The part that gets high just talking about what it's going to do. You have to silence the child inside who wants a reward, and wake up the strategist who demands power. The method is simple, but it's not easy, because on a battlefield, you don't hope, you maneuver. Let's begin. Number 1. A goal is a painkiller. Why do you set goals? Ask yourself, and go deep. Why did you write down, I want to make $1 million? Why did you write, I want to be happy? Because you're in pain. You're unhappy with where you are right now, so you build a fantasy future to escape it. The goal isn't a map, it's a painkiller. It numbs you to the fact that, right now, you're not who you want to be. And here's the cruelest trick of all. The second you write that goal down, your brain hands you a reward. It releases dopamine. It gives you the feeling of achievement without the achievement. You feel good. You feel like you've already done it. And because you feel like you've already done it, you lose the hunger to actually do it. You just talked your own brain into being comfortable. Machiavelli despised hope. He saw it as a weakness. He believed that waiting on time to fix your problems is the mark of a fool. He wrote, in his own way, that men love to deceive themselves. They paint the world as they wish it to be, instead of seeing it as it really is. Lock onto a goal, and you get tunnel vision. You stare so hard at the peak of the mountain that you miss the cliff right under your feet. You get rigid, and in nature, rigid things break. Think back to the last time you blew a big goal. What happened? You crashed. You felt worthless. You felt like a fraud. Why? Because you bet your entire self-worth on an outcome you couldn't control. You handed your power to the future. Picture a guy named Mark. Mark set a goal: make department head in 2 years. He taped it to his wall. He told the whole office. Then the company restructured. The position got wiped off the org chart, and Mark collapsed. He felt like 2 years of his life had gone down the drain. He felt like a loser, but that title was never really his. It was just a dot on a map that Fortuna could erase any time she liked. Mark's mistake wasn't working hard. His mistake was falling in love with the destination instead of falling in love with the siege. This is the difference between a goal and a method. A goal asks, what do I want to achieve? A method asks, where do I need to be standing? A goal is a single point, and a single point can be destroyed. A method is a position, and a strong position survives every storm. Machiavelli offers you a different road. He calls it virtù. This isn't virtue in the moral sense. It's got nothing to do with being a good person. It's effectiveness, it's skill, power, adaptability, and ruthless competence to get the thing done. A person with virtù doesn't say, I want to be rich. That's a passive wish. A person with virtù says, I'll master persuasion, I'll learn how capital flows, and I'll plant myself where money has to pass through me. You feel the difference? The first one is a wish. The second one is a structural change to your reality. The goal setter runs on luck. I hope this works out. The strategist runs on necessità. Necessity. When you delete your goals, you're not giving up, you're getting serious. Before we go deeper, let me be straight with you. What's coming isn't for everybody. It's for the ones who are ready to face the cold truth about their own ambition. If that's you, hit subscribe right now, because this channel exists to build strategists, not dreamers. Subscribe, and let's keep moving. Number 2, from dreamer to architect. When you delete your goals, you start asking sharper questions. You look at your life and ask, where are the leverage points? Where am I weak? Where am I bleeding energy? Who's standing in my way? This is the shift from dreamer to architect. The dreamer looks up at the sky, the architect looks down at the foundation. And right now, your foundation is cracking because you've been too busy looking up. Stop staring at the horizon. Look at your feet. Look at your hands. What can you control right now? What system can you build today that makes the result inevitable? Machiavelli teaches that the outcome is often out of your hands. Fortuna spins her wheel, but the preparation, the strategy, that's yours. And if your strategy is airtight, even a bad outcome can't destroy you. You just pivot, you adapt, you keep going. Let's go back to Mark, the guy who lost the title. If Mark had been an architect instead of a dreamer, he'd never have bet on a chair. He'd have asked, what skills make me impossible to replace at any company? What relationships give me leverage outside this building? Where do I sit in the flow of power in my industry? If Mark had built those things, losing the chair wouldn't be a disaster. It'd just be information. The terrain shifted. And an architect always knows how to rebuild on new terrain. Think about a chess player. The weak player only looks at the next move. He wants to grab a piece. He chases the small reward right in front of him. The grandmaster looks at the whole board. He doesn't chase pieces. He builds position. And by the time his position is strong enough, his opponent loses without even understanding how. That's what you need to become. Not the one chasing pieces, the one who owns the board. And to own the board, you have to learn something almost nobody is willing to learn. You have to learn how to go quiet. Number 3, move in silence. We live in a loud age. Everybody broadcasts their moves. I'm starting a business. I'm hitting the gym. I'm working on a new project. You post it online. You tell your friends. You go hunting for applause before you've lifted a single finger. Machiavelli would call that suicide. He's famous for the image of the lion and the fox. The lion is strong, it scares off the wolves. But the lion walks right into traps. The fox is weak. But the fox sees the trap coming. To hold power, you have to be both. But when it comes to your ambitions, you have to be the fox. When you announce your goal, 2 things happen. First, your brain dumps dopamine. It gives you the satisfaction of finishing without you doing the work. You feel good. You feel like enough. And because you feel like enough, you lose the appetite to actually do it. Second, you create resistance. The moment you tell the world what you want, you make enemies. The jealous ones, the doubters, the people who, deep down, want you to fail, so they don't have to feel bad about standing still themselves. You just handed them a target. Machiavelli advised that a prince should never reveal his true intentions. Not until the knife is already moving. He wrote that a man must be a master of disguise. So delete the goals from your bio, delete them from your conversations, move in silence. And this isn't just about secrecy, it's about conserving energy. Talking leaks power, doing builds power. Picture this. You're building a bomb. Do you talk about the bomb? Do you show everyone the blueprints? No. You build it in the dark. You wire it with precision. And the only time the world hears about it is when it goes off. Be the bomb instead of a goal. Carry a secret agenda. A goal points outward. I want the promotion. A secret agenda points inward. I'm going to make myself indispensable to the people who decide. I'll gather leverage, and I'll force their hand when the timing is right. Feel the difference in weight. The goal pleads, the agenda plots. Think about a woman named Claire. Claire is the quiet one in the office. While her co-workers brag about their ambitions, she says nothing. She watches. She learns every process. She quietly becomes the only person who understands how the whole machine runs. Then one day, a major project goes into crisis. Everyone panics. Only Claire knows how to fix it. And in that moment, she doesn't have to ask for a promotion. She's already become inevitable. When you run on a secret agenda, you walk differently. You sit in meetings, and you're not anxious about being noticed. You're observing, you're calculating, you know something they don't. You're playing a game they don't even realize has started. That creates a magnetic pull. People can feel it when someone's holding power back. It makes them uneasy, it makes them respect you. They can't figure out why you seem so calm, because you never told them a thing. And that mystery hands you the upper hand. So stop fishing for applause for things you haven't done. Starve your ego, feed your shadow, let the results be the only noise you ever make. Number 4. This is fuel. Here's where most people break. You set a goal, you work hard, you sacrifice. Then life shows up, you get sick, the market crashes, your partner walks out. The goal becomes impossible. The goal setter collapses, he cries. It's not fair. He sinks into depression. He feels like the whole universe is against him. The strategist laughs. He laughs because he knows that fortuna, luck, fate, chaos is something that loves to be mastered. She's wild. She's violent. She doesn't care about your plans. If you've got a rigid goal, chaos is your enemy. If you've got a Machiavellian method, chaos is fuel. Machiavelli wrote that it's better to be bold than cautious, because fortune favors the one who dares over the one who calculates and hesitates. Which means you have to be aggressive with reality. When the plan breaks, you don't stop. You attack the new problem. Delete the idea of a plan A and a plan B. There's only the objective and the terrain. The objective is power, freedom, control, resources. The terrain is whatever's happening right now. If the terrain changes, you don't whine that the map is wrong. You throw the map away and look at the ground. Say you lose your job. The goal setter says, "My plan to make VP is ruined. I'm a failure." The strategist says, "The terrain shifted. Now I'm a free agent. My necessity just went up. I'll use this urgency to pivot into a higher leverage industry. One I was too comfortable to step into before." You see it. The event is identical. The reaction is the exact opposite. One man gets beaten by reality. The other one uses reality as a weapon. This is anti-fragility. You position yourself so you actually gain from disorder. Don't build a glass castle, build a fire. Wind blows out a candle, but wind feeds a fire. When you have goals, you're the candle, you're terrified of the wind. When you have a method of power, you're the fire. You want the wind, you want the challenge, you want the chaos, because you know it'll only make you burn hotter and consume more. Ask yourself right now, if I lost everything tomorrow, would I know what to do? If the answer is no, you're clinging too tightly to your current stability. You've gone soft. You need to rehearse the destruction of your life in your mind, so you're ready for the day it actually comes. Machiavelli spent years in exile. He was tortured. He was stripped of his titles. Did he give up? No. He sat down in the mud and wrote The Prince. He turned his exile into the most influential book on power in human history. He never reached his goal of returning to power in the way he wanted. He did something bigger. He conquered the future. He used his misery as ink. So what are you doing with your misery? Are you letting it rot you, or are you using it? If something just shifted inside you, drop one word in the comments. Virtù. I want to see how many of you are ready to stop wishing and start commanding. And if you're getting value out of this, a like helps it reach the other strategists who are still asleep. All right, now we go to the hardest part. Number 5, become your own tyrant. We're told to love ourselves, to practice self-care, to be gentle with our flaws. And while there's a time to rest, there's no time for weakness. Machiavelli asked a famous question, is it better to be loved or feared? His answer, best to be both, but if you have to choose, it's safer to be feared. Now turn that on yourself. Do you love yourself? Probably, you let yourself sleep in. You let yourself eat the junk. You let yourself skip the work because you don't feel like it. That's love. And that love is making you mediocre. You need to fear yourself. Fear the lazy part of you. Fear the part that wants to settle. Fear the version of you that wakes up 5 years from now with nothing to show for it. You have to become your own tyrant. That sounds harsh, it is. But look at what gentle has produced. Look at where gentle has taken us. Weak bodies, weak minds, fragile emotions. A Machiavellian ruler imposes order on chaos. You're the ruler of your own mind. But right now, your mind is in revolt. Your impulses are rioting. They demand cheap dopamine. They demand comfort. Try to love them into line, and they'll laugh in your face. You have to crush the rebellion, delete the goal of losing weight, install the mandate of physical sovereignty. A sovereign doesn't negotiate with hostage takers, and your cravings are hostage takers. They're holding your potential at gunpoint. And here's the paradox. When you're ruthless with yourself, you become freer. Discipline is the only freedom there is. When you can command yourself to do the hard thing, and you actually do it, you feel a power no goal could ever give you. You feel dangerous. You walk into a room and you know, I can control myself, so I can control this room. Most people can't even control what they eat for breakfast. How do they expect to control a negotiation? How do they expect to control their destiny? Write your own law. Build your own constitution. I don't complain. I don't talk about plans. I execute them. I don't react to insults. I analyze them. Break the law. Punish yourself. Keep the law. Reward yourself. Be a fair king, but be a strong one. When you build this fear inside, this deep respect for your own standard, you stop needing motivation from outside. You don't need a video to pump you up. You don't need a quote. You have necessità. You do it because you must, because the alternative is being a slave to your own impulses. Number 6, the 3 pillars. If we delete the goals, what takes their place? What does the Machiavellian method actually look like on a regular Tuesday morning? It comes down to 3 pillars. Positioning, leverage, adaptability. Pillar 1 is positioning. Stop asking, what do I want to achieve? Start asking, where do I need to be standing? If you want to be rich, plant yourself in the flow of money. Don't set a goal to make 10 grand. Go stand where 10 grand is changing hands. Learn the language of that place. Pick up the customs of that place. Picture 2 people who both want to make it in tech. The first one sets a goal, make a ton of money. Then he sits back home in a job that has nothing to do with it, and he dreams. The second one doesn't set a money goal at all. She just moves to where the industry is on fire. She stands in the current. She meets the right people. She breathes the right air. 3 years later, the second one has left the first one in the dust. Not because she's smarter, because she's standing in the right place. Success isn't a sprint, it's a location. Move your body and your mind to the place where success is the natural byproduct. Pillar 2 is leverage. Goals are linear. 1 + 1 = 2. Leverage is exponential. 1 + 1 = 10. Machiavelli didn't fight every battle himself. He used alliances. He used other people's armies. So look at your life. Are you doing everything with brute force? How can you use technology? How can you use other people's time? How can you use other people's money? The strategist asks, how do I get the maximum result with the minimum necessary effort? This isn't laziness. It's efficiency. It's conserving your energy for the killing blow. Pillar 3 is adaptability. Every morning, wake up and read the room, read the market, read your own energy. If you're tired, do the low-energy strategic work. If you're charged up, do the high-energy execution work. Don't jam a square peg into a round hole just because your schedule says so. Be water. If the door's locked, go through the window. If the window's barred, dig a tunnel. If the ground's too hard, wait for the rain to soften it. Never stop moving, but never be afraid to change direction. This method is simpler because it strips out the emotional weight of failure. You can't fail if you keep adapting. You can only be delayed. And to a strategist, a delay is just more time to sharpen the blade. Number 7, become the eye of the storm. When you delete your goals and take on this method, something changes in your eyes. You stop looking desperate. You stop looking like you're chasing something. You start looking like you already own something. People are drawn to certainty. In a world full of anxious goal setters, the one with a system is king. You become the eye of the storm, calm, cold, watchful. While they're running around screaming about their 5-year plans, you're quietly laying the bricks of an empire that'll stand for 50. Look at the difference in how these two move through a single day. The goal setter wakes up and checks how far he is from the finish line. If he's close, he feels a fake rush of excitement. If he's far, he feels crushed. His whole day is an emotional tightrope, yanked up and down by a number he can't control. The one with the method wakes up and asks one question. Today, where do I strengthen my position? He doesn't care how far the finish line is, because he doesn't have one. He has a direction, and every day he moves in that direction, steady, unshakable. You stop getting high on the fantasy of the future, and you start getting high on the control of the present. Every action becomes a ritual of power. Every silence becomes a move. Every setback becomes a lesson in geometry. Calculating the new angle of attack. Remember Mark, the guy who lost the chair. If Mark becomes this person, losing the job isn't the end. It's just a new angle of attack. He looks at the shifted terrain, and instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" he asks, "What does this new position give me that the old one never could?" This is the Machiavellian way. It's not for everyone. It's dark. It's lonely. It demands that you kill the part of you that wants to be saved. Nobody's coming to save you. No goal is going to save you. Only you can save you. And you'll do it, not by wishing, but by commanding. Now you're awake. You've looked into the abyss of your own ambition, and you didn't blink. But understanding the philosophy is only the first step. The mind is a cunning servant. It'll try to slide back into the old habits. Tomorrow morning, it'll try to set a goal again. You have to watch it. You have to guard the throne of your own mind. There's one trap that destroys even the best strategists. It's the trap of emotional leakage. It's the moment you let your feelings run your strategy. You built a flawless system. You positioned yourself. You gathered your leverage. You adapted. And then somebody says one thing that sets you off. And in that anger, you throw away every advantage you spent years building. Machiavelli warned about this more than anything else. A ruler who lets emotion lead is a ruler who's handed the keys to the kingdom straight to his enemy. Because anyone who can pull your emotional strings can move you like a puppet. You think you're calm, but you have no idea what real stillness is. In the next video, we're going to break down exactly how to detach from your emotions so completely that you become immune to manipulation. You'll learn how to become someone no one can read, no one can touch, and no one can control. If you want to go deeper into this darkness, subscribe right now and turn on the bell. Because when that video drops, you're going to want to be one of the first ones watching. And before you go, leave this in the comments. What goal are you deleting today? What goal are you replacing with a method? Write it down, because the moment you write it down, the siege begins. You're not a dreamer anymore. You're a strategist, and the game just started.